Rest in peace. Everyone get on your feet. Wave your hands, turn up the heat. Everyone get on your feet. Got another show to go. We're all together, all together, all together. Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to race number 29 of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series Season 1, the third race in the chase, and the last chance race for drivers such as Austin LaPlante, Matt McIntyre, Charlie Rodriguez, and Michael Norman to try to get a good finish and hope to get out of the 13th through 16th place spots in the points if they want to stay in contention for the championship, because after this race, the drivers 13th through 16th in points will be eliminated from championship contention, and the top 12 drivers will get an additional 1,000 points after this race. But hello, I am Levi McIntyre, aka Thrashmaniac99, the voice of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Kansas Speedway for the running of the Kansas 400 here. Now, this track is a 1.5 mile track, very fast 1.5 mile track, sort of in the similar vein of Las Vegas, Chicagoland, except this track a little more grippy, fresh surface. So this track is going to be fast, it's going to be testy, and it's going to be very aggressive. Now we are going to take a look at the starting lineup. Starting on the pole position is going to be the driver who comes into this race in 39th in points, and that is pole setter of this race, Tommy Mooney. Tommy Mooney would love to be able to get his first win of the season and hope to impress drivers here in this field at that he is a legitimate competitor. Starting second is going to be the driver who is second highest of the non-chasers in the points and 18th in points, Ian Dutta. He would love to be able to get a win this year before the season's over. Can he do it today? We'll find out when we go green. Starting third is going to be the driver who comes in the 38th position in points, but he has been getting some rather pretty good finishes as of late, and that is Joshua Michaels. He almost won last week at California. Can he win this week? We'll find out. Starting fourth is going to be the highest chaser in the field, I believe. Yeah, the highest chaser, Chris Washer. He comes into this race in the 7th position in points, but he wants to be able to keep his good finishes going if he wants to stay above 13th place, if he's going to make it to the next 3 races. Starting and rounding out the top 5, in 5th is going to be the 99 of Cody Hagan, and Cody Hagan comes into this race in the 23rd position in points. Can he win this week? We'll find out. Starting in 6th is going to be the driver who comes in 31st in points, Seth Cole. Let's see if he can win this week. Starting 7th is going to be the driver who comes in 41st in points, Chris Nelson. Starting in 8th is going to be the driver who comes into this race 25th in points, Dylan Thero. 9th is the driver who comes in 29th in points, Henrietta Fitzwater. Rounding out the top 10 is going to be the 22 of Ian Siegel, who comes in 32nd in points. So in the top 10, only one chase driver starting in the top 10, and that is Chris Washer. Then in 11th is going to be our next highest chaser, Fred Schaefer, who comes into the race in the 9th position in points. Then next to him is his teammate Kyle Matthews. Then it's points leader Daniel Day, Dylan Young, Chris Michaels, Charles Jackson, Henry Nova, Chris Dollarton, Austin LaPlante, who hopes to get a good finish in order to stay in contention for the championship. Next to him is Jordan Kolb. Then it's the driver who comes into the chase 10th in points, Chris Oliver. Next to him is Trent Dunham. Next row is the driver who comes in 11th in points, Jessica Shelton. Next to her is the driver who comes in 8th in points, Cole Daly. Then it's Sonny Hammond, Nathan Hudson. One of the Danger Zone drivers, 15th in points, Charlie Rodriguez. Then David Rivera. Then Barney Taylor, who is 12th in points, so he's on that bubble list on trying to stay in contention. Carlos Rodriguez, last week's winner at California. Noah Hart, who's 3rd in points. Michael Norman, who is dead last in the chase. He needs to get a good finish if he wants to stay in contention. Then it's Eric Burton. Then it's the driver 6th in points, Austin Weiner. Danny Wells, who is 2nd in points. Ibrahim, Rue McIntyre. 4th in points, Zachary Fitzwater. Nick Smith. Then it's 5th in points, Cody Lamas. Then Cameron Bailey. And then the 14th place driver in points, Matt McIntyre. So that is a look at your starting lineup. We are now getting ready to go green for 41 laps here in the Kansas 400 at Kansas Speedway. As you can tell, this is fresh surface here on the track, which means this track is going to be fast, grippy, but at the same time, these drivers are going to be testing the waters here, so who knows what you can expect here at a race like this. Looking back here, and everybody else is pretty much good to go. But here we go. They are coming down to the green flag to start the Kansas 400. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. We see some drivers who are using the apron a little bit to get a little bit of advantage. And right now is 3 wide back here for, I believe, the 6th position between the 43, the 99, and the 47. Meanwhile, here comes Joshua Michaels to the bottom. He's going to try to get around the 33 of Tommy Mooney. Well, meanwhile, here comes the 93 of Chris Nelson. Can he lead the first lap? Did he get him? He did. He does lead the first lap. Meanwhile, we have back here Ibrahim running dead last. Wow, look at that. 3 wide. Look at that gap. Look at those. All them cars except for Ibrahim and Ian Siegel are chase cars running in the back of the pack. I think this might be strategy for them. Meanwhile, all of a sudden, Chris Nelson's lead is gone. Daniel Day's going to lead that lap. Henrietta Fitzwater 2nd, but now she's under attack from Ian Dutta. And now all of a sudden, Chris Michaels, Henry Nova, this field got shook up quite a bit. Like I said, this is a fast track, so we could be seeing quite a lot of lead changes. Uh-oh, I see 4 wide back here. And they're going to settle it out to 3 wide, so that is good. I thought we almost had a wreck take place. Let's check back here, see who all is running. There you see 3 chasers running 3 wide. Austin Weiner, Chris Washer, Cody Lamas. And then back here is Zachary Fitzwater, Matt McIntyre, Barney Taylor, Cole Daly, Michael Norman. Seth Cole all of a sudden fell from 6th down to last. I'm not sure what happened. Now here comes chaser Chris Oliver to the lead. Yeah, this is a fast track. They're going nearly 210 miles an hour entering the corners, and they barely let off the brakes, and they are going to exit at 197 miles an hour. So this track is super fast for a 1.5 mile track, and you barely use the brakes hardly. But this is a portion of the track where it's slower, and they're going to exit off at 196. But Chris Oliver's going to lead another lap. Meanwhile, coming in 2nd is Henrietta Fitzwater. And look who's coming behind her, Chris Nelson, who led earlier the first lap. He's going to try to get the lead back. Seth Cole all of a sudden is on pit road. He must have like a mechanical problem or tire go down. Let's keep an eye out here on the 47. Well, he's not retiring, so he actually looked like he just took gas and then left. Meanwhile, Michael Norman's back here, and he needs to get around cars if he wants to stay in contention because he's in the danger zone of not being able to stay in contention to be in the chase for the championship. Meanwhile, Chris Oliver leads away. Let's take a look at the top 50 or the top 20 right now. It's Chris Oliver, the leader. Chris Nelson second. Now coming in for second is Dylan Young. Fourth, Jessica Sheldon. Fifth, Cameron Bailey. All of a sudden, Austin Weiner, who was way back at the pack, he's up here in sixth. Seventh, Ian Dutta, and the caution flag is out. Who was in this? Ibrahim's involved. Don't think Henry Nova got a piece of anything. Looking up here to see if there's any damage on anybody. Don't look like it, so it looked like it was a one-car incident between Ibrahim. And Henry Nova, even though he's back here, he doesn't have damage. So I'm not sure as to what happened to the 51. Maybe he got loose and lost it and spun it out, or somebody got into him and he hit the outside wall pretty hard. But now it looks like everybody is going to come down pit road to get fresher tires and fuel. We're going to check and see if everybody is coming down. It looks like for the most part everyone is. Seth Cole's staying out to take a wave around to get his lap back, I believe. But other than that, everybody seems to be coming down pit road. I see some drivers going with 4 tires. I saw Chris Oliver take 4. Oh, he and Austin LaPlante make contact in pit road. I don't know how that's going to hinder his car. And then Dylan Young, Dylan Thero make contact. And Dylan Young's actually going to get out first, then Chris Oliver second. Third looks like it's Trent Dunham, then Austin Weiner and Jessica Shelton. Cameron Bailey, Sonny Hammond, Ian Dutta, Chris Nelson, Chris Michaels. That will probably be your top 10 when we go to the restart. But since we're under caution, we're going to take a look and see what brought out the caution for the first time today here at Kansas. Well, here's a look at it. He's trying to make it 3 wide between Nick Smith and Henry Nova. And he comes up. His car gets very, very tight. He gets into Henry Nova, and then Henry Nova spins, and then Tommy Mooney got a piece of it. And then, oh, that's what happened. Wow, he hit that opening. That was a hard hit for that 51 car. No wonder, even though he had only rear end damage, no wonder he had to teleport out to pit road. He hit the opening. That is one of the hardest hits I've seen in quite some time. But here we go, look at the helicopter cam. Yeah, he gets very tight, gets in Henry Nova, and Nova's going to come down into Tommy Mooney. The 51's going to go spinning, and he hit the wrong place. Wow, driver's side first into that edge of the opening. That is a hard hit for the 51. And the 51 was hoping that he could have had a good day and Chris Nelson could have had a bad day so he can get out of 42nd place in points, but his chances of getting out of 42nd are not looking very good for him at the moment. But that was a look at what brought out the caution. We will now take you to the restart. Well, the pace car lights are out. Now Seth Cole's on the tail end of the lead lap. Your leader is Dylan Young. Second is Chaser Chris Oliver. Third, Trent Dunham. Fourth is Chaser Austin Weiner. Fifth is Chaser Jessica Sheldon. Then it's Cameron Bailey, Sonny Hammond, Ian Dutta, Chris Nelson, Chris Michaels, Henrietta Fitzwater, Eric Burden, Chaser Noah Hart, points leader and Chaser Daniel Day, Carlos Rodriguez, Jordan Culp, Nathan Hudson, David Rivera, Kyle Matthews, Chaser Zachary Fitzwater, and Charles Jackson. Then it's Chris Dollarton, Chaser Charlie Rodriguez, Nick Smith, Chaser Cody Lamas, Cody Hagan, Chaser Barney Taylor, Chaser Austin LaPlante, Chaser Danny Wells, Rue McIntyre, Chaser Cole Daly, Chaser Matt McIntyre, Dylan Thero, Chaser Michael Norman, Ian Siegel, Chaser Chris Washer, Henry Nova, Chaser Fred Schaefer, Joshua Michaels, and Tommy Mooney. After all of that, only one car out of the race, and that is the 51 of Ibrahim after he took a hard hit driver's door first into the opening. But luckily for that, it was a safer barrier right there, but still, that was a hard hit. But here we go. Green flag is back out. And Seth Cole, he appears to be up to speed. But we'll see. Is he going to hold up the 2 car is the question. Meanwhile, Trent Dunham is going to get around the 21 at the moment for the 2nd spot. And Seth Cole does appear to be up to speed because he's running side by side with Dylan Young. And now here comes Trent Dunham behind them to try to get the lead. And also Cameron Bailey's entered this battle. Oh man, it's going to be 3 wide for the lead. Oh man, and then look back here. 4 wide underneath Seth Cole. This cannot end well. Seth Cole. Oh man. Let's see if they can keep it together, and they do. Great job by all these guys. Meanwhile, Cameron Bailey's the leader, but here comes Chris Nelson to the bottom to try to retake the lead that he had earlier on in the race. And then behind him is the 7 of Chris Michaels. We have not talked much about him recently. And now also here comes Henrietta Fitzwater. Ian Dutta. And then the highest running chaser is Noah Hart. Let's see, and the caution's out. Chris Oliver, chaser involved. Chris Washer was involved. Austin LaPlante, he is probably most likely going to be eliminated from the chase after that. Nick Smith has some damage. Zachary Fitzwater looks like he got some damage. I don't see any other cars with damage, I don't think. But man, that took out 3 chase cars, but most importantly of all, Austin LaPlante got the worst end of that deal. And he is going to end up being out of contention for the championship. Meanwhile, while drivers are taking pit stops, a few cars are deciding to stay out. Henrietta Fitzwater, Nathan Hudson, David Rivera, Jessica Sheldon, and Chris Dollarton. Meanwhile, we see drivers coming down pit road. Chris Nelson looks like he's going to be restarting in the 6th position. But anyways, since we're under caution, we're going to take a look and see what happened to what brought out the caution for the 2nd time here at Kansas. Well, here's a look at it. Chris Oliver is running in the 11th spot. Sonny Hammond and Chris Dollarton make it 4 wide. The 17 gets into the 21, and then he's going to clip the 9, and he's going to go hard into the outside wall. And then Chris Washer hits, and then Austin LaPlante. And that is how they get involved. Rue McIntyre actually gets a little piece of that as well. So too does Nick Smith. But that was 4 chase drivers involved. LaPlante, Washer, Oliver, and Fitzwater. But let's take a look at this wreck one more time with the 21. And he was running around the 11th or 12th position, but here's what's going to happen. The 34 is going to go underneath the 17, and they're going to go underneath the 21. 21 is going to go underneath the 2. It's 4 wide. The 17 gets into the 21, and then the 21 comes down into the 9, and he's going to hit the outside wall, and then the 24 hits the 21, then the 48 hits his teammate, and then up ahead the 20 gets a piece of it. Let's take a look at when Austin LaPlante gets in this, when he hits his teammate Chris Washer when the wreck eventually occurs right there. And then Nick Smith gets in the Washer a little bit, and then Rue McIntyre gets in the Washer, and then a little bit into the wall and to LaPlante. But man, still, that was 4 chasers in that mess. But I think the one who's going to take the biggest hit is going to be Austin LaPlante, because he came into this race in that 13th through 16th place in points area, and he is most likely going to be eliminated after this race because he ain't going to be able to continue. So that is a tough break for Austin LaPlante. So his championship hopes are over, which sucks for him, but I mean that just sucks for Austin LaPlante. Chris Washer, we'll see if he can hang on and stay in that top 12. Same for Chris Oliver. But that was a look at what happened. We will now take you to the restart. Well, the lights are out on the pace car, which means we will go green next time by. Henrietta Fitzwater is your leader. Second is Nathan Hudson. Third, David Rivera. Fourth, Jessica Sheldon. Fifth is Chris Dollarton. Those five did not pit, and Sheldon is the highest chaser at the moment. Sixth is going to be Chris Nelson. Seventh is chaser Noah Hart. Eighth, Cameron Bailey. Ninth, Chris Michaels. 10th is Ian Dutta. Then it's Eric Burden, Cody Hagan, points leader Daniel Day. Second in points, Danny Wells. Charles Jackson, Carlos Rodriguez, Sonny Hammond, chaser Cole Daly, chaser Charlie Rodriguez, and Kyle Matthews. Trent Dunham, chaser Cody Lamas, chaser Matt McIntyre, Joshua Michaels, Jordan Culp, Dylan Thero, chaser Michael Norman, Ian Siegel, Henry Nova, Tommy Mooney, Dylan Young all of a sudden is back here. Barney Taylor is a chaser, chaser Austin Weiner, Nick Smith, Zachary Fitzwater is a chaser, chaser Fred Schaefer, then Rue McIntyre, and then Seth Cole, the only car a lap down. And the rest of the cars are out of the race. Austin LaPlante, Chris Oliver, Chris Washer, and Ibrahim. But we are going to be going green flag racing now with 22 laps to go here at Kansas. Seth Cole, the only car a lap down on the track. He's still up to speed though. If he can get a good jump on a restart and get around the leader, he can get himself back on the lead lap. But meanwhile, Henrietta's going to pull away, but here comes Chris Nelson, David Rivera, and Nathan Hudson to go through Seth Cole. David Rivera is going to move into second for now. Let's check up ahead. Rue McIntyre is not up to speed after that incident. Same with Zachary Fitzwater. Nick Smith, however, is up to speed. We're going up here to take a look, see who is where through the field. Seth Cole's getting shuffled back. Meanwhile, we have a three-way battle for second. David Rivera, Chris Nelson, and chaser Noah Hart. While in the meantime, Henrietta Fitzwater still leads. We're going through the field to make sure there ain't no wrecks happening, at least for the time being. As Henrietta leads and they're coming down to take 19 to go here at Kansas. And we are still green. So now let's take a look at the top 20, or at least let's take a look at where the chase drivers are running. Noah Hart's second, third Danny Wells. Then the next chaser to be in line is the 42 of Matt McIntyre, and 14th, 15th Cody Lamas. Then Charlie Rodriguez, Cole Daly, Jessica Sheldon, Danny Wells, Austin Weiner, Barney Taylor, and Michael Norman, three wide with Eric Burton. Then it is Fred Schaefer, Zachary Fitzwater. Meanwhile, Carlos Rodriguez got around Danny Wells for second. So at the moment, Danny Wells is the highest chase driver running on the track. And we are still clean and green, and we are 17 laps to go. Meanwhile, we check back here. Right now, the lowest chase running driver is Fred Schaefer, and he does not want to be running there. And there you see two chasers battling for, I believe, the 24th position, Austin Weiner, Barney Taylor. And there's Jessica Sheldon, Cole Daly, Michael Norman right there. And then next there's Charlie Rodriguez, Daniel Day, Noah Hart, Matt McIntyre, Cody Lamas, Danny Wells. Meanwhile, Henrietta Fitzwater still leads away. Nobody's been able to get to her at the moment. However, Carlos Rodriguez is trying to get that lead. As it is now 15 to go here at Kansas. I'm sure these drivers will have to come and pit at least one more time before the race is over. Uh-oh, they're going to encounter the lap car of Rue McIntyre. This cannot end well. Oh, let's take a look. Keep an eye on the 8. Trent Dunham's going to go underneath him. Oh, Cody Lamas, Danny Wells make contact. But they split the 8 and they're going to save it. But now the 8's going to hold up Dollarton, Thero, well now just Dollarton and Hudson. The 2 front row motorsports cars. Now Hudson's going to go underneath. But it's Dollarton, Jackson, now Norman's getting held up. It's now Jackson and Norman, the only ones getting held up at the moment. Now they're going to get around the 8, but now Norman's still stuck, as is Bailey. And then Mooney's going to be held up for the time being. Oh, he almost turned Cameron Bailey. That would have been ironic. The 2 GoDaddy cars get wrecked. And now Cameron Bailey's the only car getting held up at the moment. Now he's going to go down. Meanwhile, David Rivera, Jessica Sheldon are coming down pit road. Meanwhile, Carlos Rodriguez has the lead now. He finally got around Henrietta Fitzwater, but now Fitzwater's going to come back through the bottom lane. And now she's coming down pit road, and Carlos Rodriguez is your leader still. We are still green flag racing, which is good. Second now is Cody Lamas. Third is Cole Daly. And then Matt McIntyre, who needed to try to get ahead of a couple drivers. He's doing good right now in the top 5. And there's Zachary Fitzwater, who Carlos Rodriguez is going to end up encountering soon. And it's 10 to go here at Kansas. And oh, he almost took out the 9. That would have been very, very unfortunate. There's Sheldon, who just came out of pit road, and the 6. Hudson just now came out, as to did Dollarton and Fitzwater. So I believe these drivers will end up having to pit within the next 4 or 5 laps. And at the moment, it still is Carlos Rodriguez, the leader. Matt McIntyre is the highest running chase driver at the moment in the 2nd spot. Let's take a look and see where the chase cars are running at the moment. Let's check, see if we're green. We are, so we can. But Matt McIntyre is in 2nd, the highest running chaser. Then it's Barney Taylor 5th. Then it's Cole Daly now 9th. 10th, Charlie Rodriguez. 11th, Noah Hart. And then there's Cody Lamas. Austin Weiner is in there. And now more drivers are in pitting. But Noah Hart's going to get into the wall. Oh, and we have a wreck. Seth Cole, Cameron Bailey, Chris Michaels. Oh, man, I don't think this is going to be good for those drivers who came down and pitted. They may get caught a lap down. But the leader at the moment is going to be Trent Dunham. If we do go back green, it could end up being a green-white checkered or 3 laps to go, depending on the situation. But I saw Seth Cole, and Trent Dunham's going to stay out. I don't know about that. And same with Daniel Day. Oh, Matt McIntyre was involved. Oh, no. Matt McIntyre and Henrietta Fitzwater was involved. Dylan Thero was involved, or he's probably just pitting. But man, tough break for Fitzwater, but most importantly, tough break for that 42. Noah Hart had some damage, but Matt McIntyre came into this race 14th in points, hoping to get higher up and stay in the top 12, but now he, along with Austin LaPlante, are going to be the drivers who are going to be eliminated from championship contention. That is a tough break for that car. But we are now past 5 to go here at Kansas. We will take a look at a replay to see what brought out the caution for the 2nd time here at Kansas. Well, this is what happened. Matt McIntyre was coming down pit road, and then Kyle Matthews tried to as well, and he gets into the 42, and that's going to force him up the track. And then this right there, a hit from Seth Cole, and Noah Hart got a big piece of it. And then Cameron Bailey gets involved, and Chris Michaels. Now, I'm not sure as to what happened to the 43 of Henrietta Fitzwater. Here's a look at her running with Rue McIntyre. Does she hit behind? Does she hit somebody and that's how she got teleported in the pit road? Or was I just seeing things? Well, she's coming off of turn 4. There's the smoke. Let's fast forward a little bit. Oh, she does hit somebody. She hit the 7 of Chris Michaels, who's keeping it going, and boom, right into the back of the 7, and that's what's going to cause her damage. Whoa, look at Rue McIntyre. Wow, how did he get through that? Great job by that 8 car of Rue McIntyre to somehow get around the 43 and the 7, but still, that's a tough break for the 42 of Matt McIntyre. And all this happened just because he was just trying to come down pit road to make his pit stop, and somehow the 27 of Kyle Matthews, who was trying to get as much positions as possible up ahead of these drivers and slow down fast enough to get in the pit road ahead of everybody, and he just gets into the 42, and that's going to force him up the track, and then Seth Cole has nowhere to go. And then Seth Cole takes a big hit from Cameron Bailey. Then Chris Michaels gets a piece of it. And then Chris Michaels is going to take an even bigger hit, courtesy of Henrietta Fitzwater. But the 10 and the 47 will end up being out of the race as a result. But that was a look at what brought out the caution for the second time. We will now take you to what could be our final restart of the day. Lights are on the pace car, which means when we come by, it will be 3 laps to go. Updated list of drivers out of the race are Chris Michaels, Dylan Thero, Cameron Bailey, Matt McIntyre, Henrietta Fitzwater, and Seth Cole. Trent Dunham is your leader. Second is going to be Barney Taylor, the highest running chaser at the moment. Third is going to be Chris Nelson. Fourth, Charlie Rodriguez. Fifth, Sonny Hammond. Sixth, Eric Burton. Seventh, Carlos Rodriguez. Eighth, Noah Hart. Ninth, Joshua Michaels. 10th, Austin Weiner. Then it's Jordan Kolb, Cole Daly, Henry Nova, Cody Hagan, Michael Norman, Charles Jackson, Kyle Matthews, Dylan Young, Cody Lamas, Ian Dutta, Danny Wells, Zachary Fitzwater, Ian Siegel, Daniel Day, Tommy Mooney. Dylan Thero is actually still on the track. And then it's Fred Schaefer, Nathan Hudson, David Rivera, Chris Dollarton, and Jessica Sheldon. So we have a few cars in between Trent Dunham and Barney Taylor at the moment. So this is going to give Trent Dunham an advantage, but does he have enough fuel to make it to the rest of the way? That is the question. But here we go. We're taking the green flag. 3 laps to go here at Kansas. Now this is going to be interesting if Trent Dunham, among others, have to come down pit road again. Like Dunham, and I'm certain that the 15 may have to pit. And then the lead may be the 93 of Chris Nelson. But wait a minute. Let's keep an eye out back here. They are getting really racy back here around the 3rd position. And Barney Taylor is still going to be 2nd place. And it is 2 laps to go. Trent Dunham's on pit road. Trent Dunham has entered pit road, so the lead will cycle to Barney Taylor, who is the on-the-bubble driver in 12th in points. But does he have enough fuel to make it to the rest of the race? Because I don't remember him pitting. And then there's Carlos Rodriguez in 2nd. White flag is out for Barney Taylor. While there's Carlos Rodriguez and Austin Weiner. Austin Weiner's got a big, fast car. Can he get around Barney Taylor and get his 4th win of the season? Here he comes to the bottom. Can he get the lead from Barney Taylor? This is going to be a great finish. David Rivera is going to hold up Barney Taylor. Photo finish at the line. Austin Weiner is going to win the Kansas 400 here at Kansas. Photo finish, great finish. Holy cow. That was a finish for the ages. And Austin Weiner is going to get his 4th win of the season, and he's going to tie Chris Washer for the most wins in a season with 4. Great job for that 5 car. He took advantage of the lap machine of David Rivera being in front of Barney Taylor. He got to the bottom, and he got the advantage on the bottom, and it was literally a bumper wide, or a bumper depth, or excuse me, he was a bumper deeper than Barney Taylor to get the win. But that was an incredible finish to what was a great race. But let's take a look at the official results. Austin Weiner is going to win his 4th race of the season here at Kansas. This could boost him up high in the points. He could maybe walk out the points leader, depends on where Danny Wells, among others, and Daniel Day finished. But Barney Taylor, so close to winning this race, but he's going to be in a safe zone for now to stay in contention in the chase. As he came in 12th, he got a 2nd place finish, so I think he's going to be good to go to make it for these next 3 races. Cole Daly gets 3rd. Great run for him. The top 3 was all chase drivers. 4th, Carlos Rodriguez, the highest non-chaser. Great run for him. And Henry Nova gets a top 5 finish after he spun out in the first caution. He's going to come away with a top 5 finish. Great run for him. Jordan Kolb's going to get 6th. Michael Norman 7th. Now, we'll have to look at the points because he came into this race 16th place in points. He was in the danger zone to being eliminated. We'll have to take a look at the points and see and add up numbers and see if he's going to still be in contention or not. But Dylan Young's going to be 8th, 9th Ian Dutta, and another top 10 finish for Joshua Michaels. Then it was Sonny Hammond. Then it was Danny Wells who got 12th. Then Cody Hagan, Eric Burden, Cody Lamas, Charlie Rodriguez, Charles Jackson, Chris Nelson, who got shuffled back to the 18th spot after all those pit stops, Kyle Matthews and Noah Hart, the top 20. Then the rest of the drivers on the lead lap that finished were Daniel Day, the points leader coming into the race, Tommy Mooney, Ian Siegel, Nathan Hudson, and David Rivera. These next few cars from 26 on back to 33rd were a lap or 2 down but finished the race. Chris Dollarton, Fred Schaefer, Jessica Shelton, Nick Smith, Zachary Fitzwater, Trent Dunham, Rue McIntyre, and Dylan Thero. Everybody else was out of the race. Chris Michaels, Cameron Bailey, Matt McIntyre, who's eliminated, Henrietta Fitzwater, Seth Cole, Austin LaPlante, who's eliminated, Chris Oliver, Chris Washer, and Ibrahim. Now, we need to take a look at the chase standings. Michael Norman came into this race about 23 points behind 12th place Barney Taylor. But Jessica Shelton finished 11th. She was only 2 points ahead of the 11th place spot. So Norman finished in the 7th position. Shelton finished 28th. And Norman came in about 25 points behind Shelton. And then we saw Norman, he got 21 points on Shelton. But then the next driver that was in trouble was Chris Oliver, and he was 30 points ahead of Michael Norman. Now, Michael Norman came in at 30 points behind Chris Oliver. Michael Norman finished 7th, and Chris Oliver got 40th. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Oliver is eliminated from championship contention, along with Austin LaPlante, Matt McIntyre. And now for the fourth driver who is out, let's take a look. Charlie Rodriguez came in 19 points behind the 12th place position. But I don't think Charlie Rodriguez was able to gain enough points to stay in contention. So I think the four drivers who got eliminated were Chris Oliver, Matt McIntyre, Austin LaPlante, and Charlie Rodriguez. So Michael Norman got through this race unscathed, got a top 10, while Chris Oliver was 40th, so he's going to stay in contention, I believe. You'll see the points whenever they come out at the end of this video. But congratulations to Austin Weiner for getting his fourth win of the season and still being in contention for the championship. Next race is going to be held at, where is the next race? The next race we're going to be running is the return to one of my personal favorite tracks, Rockingham, UK. Until then, this is Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 990, voice of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series, here to say so long. Here's your results one more time, as well as the updated point standings.